What's going on, guys? And welcome to Systems by Pete, the channel where we talk about business systems and how they can help liberate you and your team from unnecessary work. In today's video, we're going to be looking at the 4 stages of business systemization and taking a look at where your business might fall on that scale. Let's check it out. All right, so just going to turn to the whiteboard here and I'm going to draw this 4 stages of business systemization here. And so as I draw this 4 stages of business systemization, I want you guys to think about, if you have a company and you're watching this today, where would your company fall in this scale that I'm drawing here between these 4 models? So just have a look at that. And the first one we're going to look at is survival. And survival is a place where a lot of businesses start. The performance of survival is really sporadic. It's very up and down. Businesses that are in survival don't really have a set way of doing things. They kind of sort of wing it. And a lot of times it's more down than it is up, to tell you the truth. And that's really because business owners can tend to be the bottleneck in the business. And they're the ones that kind of hold the business back. They're constantly out there chasing work, and they're doing work, and then they're looking for work again. And they're heavily involved in either the delivery of the core product or service, or heavily involved in the approval process of it. That's what I'm trying to say. So that's survival. And really the trick here is that we need to recognize as business owners that we are the bottleneck in the business. We're the one that's kind of holding the business back. And when we do, we can start to move out of that into stationary. Stationary would be the second phase here. Second stage. And stationary is really more flat, maybe just a slight uptick in performance here. The characteristics of stationary is that basically your team feels like they have a process or a set way of doing things, but it's all in team members' heads. The business is very person dependent. So if Sally in accounting didn't show up, we don't know how we'd pay people this week, that sort of thing. And really, a lot of people are drawing black boxes around themselves, saying, you know what, nobody knows what I do, and therefore I have job security. That can happen a lot in stationary. So really the trick in stationary to getting out of this phase is to start to extract the information out of the team members' heads. And when you start to extract that information out of the team members' heads and into documentation, you can start to move into the next phase, which is scalable. And in scalable, definitely it's a better place to be overall. I mean, there have been whole books written about having scalable businesses and that sort of thing. So it's not a bad place to be. However, it's not your final destination here. Really, you're getting a good uptick in performance here. Business owners can feel like they've made it at this point because they're making a lot of money and their business has a nice product market fit and it works overall. The issues, and if you're in scalable, you'll probably feel me on this one, is that you're having departmental issues at this point. So if your sales and marketing is working really well, maybe your operations can't keep up with delivering your core product or service out there, or maybe those things are working well, but you're having issues in invoicing your products and financing or whatever, that sorts of things. So you have a business process that works, but it's a little clunky overall. And also in scalable, you really have some of your documentation is done, but a lot of it is kind of scattered out there. It might be in on team members' desktops. It might be in Dropbox or Google Drive, those kinds of things. So that's really the kind of the landscape overall of scalable. The last one is that you're constantly having to remind your team to use your systems and processes overall. So if you have a set way of doing things, you might have team members that are constantly falling off and just, I don't know why I did it that way. I just decided to do it differently or whatever. Oh, that's the way we do it. I forgot. Things like that, right? So you don't really have that strong culture built. And the trick here that you're looking to do is you're looking to organize the information that you have for the team members and try to get it down into all one place so it starts to make sense for everybody. They can see that. And as you start to organize and move it out here, you start to moving into the saleable, the final stage here. And this is really where once you hit saleable, it's really where you get the uptick in performance here. Everything is working like a well-oiled machine at this point. You're not really having to remind your team to use your systems and processes anymore because you have a strong culture built in your business. And now your team members are just saying, hey, this is just how we do things here. and your departments work really well as well together. So that's really saleable at this point. Once you hit saleable, what you're looking at doing then is from there is just optimizing the data that you've collected. Here at this point, you have systems and processes, you have software. So you're looking at optimizing your how-to documents into one place, so all the work instructions, step 1, step 2, step 3, this is how we do things. And then on the other side, you're looking at your project management, the who does what by when. And so that you're looking at tasks, assignments, due dates, and accountability in the form of, I can go back and look and see all the work that was done, who did it, when it was due, and when it was completed, and notes attached to it, all that kind of stuff. So we're looking at optimizing all that kind of stuff. And when we have that down here, we have all of our departments that are completely systemized, like I said, full documentation, we have a strong culture in our business, everything is working well, that's when we have that saleable business overall. Now, at this point, what I want you to do is, if you do have a company, is just mark where you would be on this chart between survival and saleable. And if you're in survival right now, that's cool. It's a place to be. You don't want to stay there, but everybody's got to start somewhere. Right now, your job is to recognize you as the business owner are the bottleneck, and you need to start looking at removing yourself from the daily operations of your business. Now, if you're a solopreneur right now, that's okay. What you need to start doing is thinking about what it would be like to have an employee at this point, and what you would tell that employee. How would you train that employee so that employee could then train the next employee, and so on and so forth. And then you would no longer have to be involved in that process. That is your job. That's your homework if you're in survival right now. If you're in stationary, then your business probably feels like it has a glass ceiling, like you're in a rut and you want to get your business to the next level and you just can't seem to do it. Your homework right now, the thing you need to focus on is you need to look at extracting the processes for how you do things onto documentation so that we can start getting a basis for training your employees. What you want to do is you want to start looking at those employees in your organization, if you have a small team, that are doing it the best way possible. So maybe you have 2 people that are doing the same job. Which one is doing it better overall? If you have 2 salespeople, which is the one that's consistently hitting more numbers every month, right? That's the one you want to look at and say, what is it that you're doing? How are you approaching this particular problem in my business, and how are you solving it? And then you want to document that and start to get that trained across your team. That's your job in stationary. For scalable, if you're in this phase right here, really what you're looking at right now is you're looking at, you have a good product market fit and everything is working well for your business, but you need to continue the good work that you've been doing on extracting that information from your team members' heads and into documentation. And then we need to start looking at organizing that information down into the software packages that they are. You need to get complete documentation, and we have to really start working on the team and that culture to make sure that everybody just knows this is how we do things here. This is how it works. And if you're in saleable right now, if you actually have a saleable business where all of the departments of your business are already systemized, they all work well, then congratulations, you have a great business overall. I'd love to talk to you and get you even on the channel to see how you might have done that as well. But this right now, if you're just cresting into this, what you're looking at doing is you're looking at optimizing. Now we have to have that software for the how-to, and then the other one for the who does what by when, and then really bringing that all together into that place where you have all of your documentation very easily accessible in one spot. So those are really the 4 stages of business systemization overall. And I hope you got some value out of that. If you did, go ahead and smash the like button and give us a comment down in there. Let me know what you think. You can even say, what stage you're in and what's going on there. I'd love to have a discussion about that with some of you if you're interested in that. And as well, go ahead and subscribe and hit the notification bell so you can see what other videos we're going to be dropping, because this video here, the 4 stages, is really a foundational video. I'm going to do a lot of other videos that are going to play on this one. We're going to reference back to this. So, this is pretty much the first in a series, really. So if you got some value out of that, I hope you did. And yeah, that's pretty much the 4 stages. So we're looking forward to seeing you guys in the next video. Thanks, guys.